needs to be ratified, and I bet we get to vote on whether or not it's ratified.
Oh my gosh, my phone has been blown. Fran Drescher won't stop calling me.
She will not stop calling you.
She's our union president.
And Major League Baseball general manager meetings wrapping up today. We're going to talk to Matt Pauley and see what the latest is on the Cardinals and their hugely important offseason.
Now, if you look where we are now, it's a lot different than we were in 2016. And Donald Trump's a lot different guy than he was in 2016. He owes it to you to be on this stage and explain why he should get another chance. He should explain why he didn't have Mexico pay for the border wall. He should explain why he racked up so much debt. He should explain why he didn't drain the swamp. And he said Republicans were going to get tired of winning. Well, we saw last night, I'm sick of Republicans losing.
That is Ron DeSantis, one of the 5 candidates on stage in Florida for what was the 3rd GOP debate. And I will say this, a couple of things. I do not like Ron DeSantis at all. There's very little about him that I find appealing.
Except for?
The boots.
That's right.
I do like those white boots. You guys crap all over the boots, but I think they're great.
Every time I joke about the boots, Ron goes to battle for Ron DeSantis' white boots.
Yeah, leave the boots alone. He's fine. But I will say 2 things about Ron DeSantis and the debate generally. Last night was not a crap show, at least.
Right.
Or they waited a while before it got a little crappy showy. But really, that was all Vivek Ramaswamy. He's the one that made it awful in moments. But last night was more cordial. There was more substance. There were actual issues being talked about, which we're going to get to in a moment.
Well, and you didn't hear this. Before I answer your question, I want to go back to what you said over there. That didn't really happen.
Well, it did happen a few times last night, and it happened. Well, Nikki Haley did it once when Vivek directly said something to her, and they're supposed to be allowed to respond, and she wasn't. And then a question later, she did. But
you don't think it
go back
felt
to it, but
less chaotic?
Yes, it was. Yeah. There was a lot less chaos last night. The other thing is, and we have talked about this before, but I think it's true. Everything DeSantis said there in that clip is correct. Donald Trump does owe it to people to be on that stage. I understand. Don't talk to me about tactics. Don't talk to me about, him not helping himself any at all by being on the debate stage. And he's already got he's already basically got the nomination. We know that there was no tactical advantage to him being on the stage, but this isn't a game. Mm-hmm. This is about who our next leader is going to be, whether it's going to be President Biden again or Donald Trump coming back for a second term, or one of these others. Who knows? Every candidate, especially the person who is the leading candidate in the party, owes it to people to be on the stage to answer questions and to have to respond to the other candidates. Now, are we getting more substance because he's not there? Probably. But I still think he owes it to people to be there. I think DeSantis is absolutely right about that.
But he doesn't need to be. He knows that he has only points to lose.
Right.
He has no points to gain, just points to lose. So why would he?
But
instead, here's what he can say, because this is what he did say. I'm proud to be indicted, because when they're indicting me, they're really indicting you. I'm being indicted for you, which you talk about a Messiah complex. Oh my gosh, this guy. Trump will focus on the indictments as if he is a sacrificial lamb for the people of America.
First of all, about that, before we move on, Donald Trump won't take bullets for his closest advisors. You think he's going to take one for you?
Yeah.
It's wild that people actually think that he would do that. But I think that one of the probably the dynamic last night that was the most noteworthy was that, again, from Vivek Ramaswamy. He likes to insert himself and just be generally off-putting. But in his exchanges with Nikki Haley, and you could tell last night, there were times where she just refused to even look in his direction. I said this last night on Twitter. I don't think I have ever hated anybody as much as Nikki Haley hates Vivek Ramaswamy.
Well, I want to laugh at why Nikki Haley didn't answer your question, which is about looking at families in the eye. In the last debate, she made fun of me for actually joining TikTok while her own daughter was actually using the app for a long time. So you might want to take care of your family first.
Leave my daughter out of your voice.
Adult daughter. The next generation of Americans are using it. And that's actually the point. You have her supporters propping her up. That's fine. Here's the truth.
You're just
the easy
scum.
answer.
You're just scum.
Spot on. Vivek Ramaswamy
He's awful.
is so
He's so
scummy.
awful.
You mentioned like knowing where you come from as a Democrat and your progressive views that you could at least stomach Nikki Haley.
Oh, yeah.
And Vivek
Yeah.
Ramaswamy makes you want to vomit. He makes me want to vomit. He is the, like I said yesterday, the griftiest grifter that ever grifted. He's arrogant. He's glib. He is, as you said perfectly, the emptiest suit ever. The emptiest suit of all empty suits.
I said that during the first debate because look, I'm fully aware that politicians, to an extent, to a degree, all of them will pander to their audience, whoever they think they're speaking to. And when I say audience, I don't necessarily mean the audience you're directly in front of, like a debate stage. I mean the audience you think you're speaking to, who you believe are your followers. There is nobody that I can remember that is more just whatever direction the wind is blowing and he thinks his people are going to like, than Vivek Ramaswamy. There isn't. He is the most prolific. I'm going to say what I think my people want to hear. More. I've never seen anybody this bad.
Like I said,
He's unbelievable.
He's so arrogant and unctuous and smarmy. He does not have any experience. He doesn't have any knowledge. He's a kid that's good at memorizing a few key lines, and he can pick out what he thinks are popular, cool words and phrases to say, and he says them, and he smiles as the oil drips from his greasy ideology. Because he's so smarmy. It's that ideology. It's snake oil ideology. Ugh.
Ukraine is not a paragon of democracy. This is a country that has banned 11 opposition parties. It has consolidated all media into one state TV media arm. That's not democratic. It has threatened not to hold elections this year unless the U.S. forks over more money. That is not democratic. It has celebrated a Nazi in its ranks, the comedian in cargo pants, a man called Zelensky, doing it in their own ranks. That is not democratic.
So there's a very specific kind of person that loves that kind of rhetoric.
And I think we should highlight what he just said because he speaks
Yes.
quickly and we are on radio and maybe you're doing other things. Vivek Ramaswamy, referred to Zelensky as a Nazi.
That's been the Russian propaganda since the very beginning here. Vladimir Putin said, I'm going over there to clear out the Nazis.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're going over there because you want to make Ukraine part of Russia again. You want the old Soviet Union back. That's what this is about.
And
it's not about getting Nazis out of Ukraine.
And
Stop that.
Just to be clear, Zelensky is Jewish and did lose family members in the Holocaust.
Yes. And so, but there's a very specific language that he's using there, taking a direct shot at Volodymyr Zelensky. And that is not to say there's no corruption in Ukraine and there aren't issues and there haven't been democratic problems, because there have been. But that does not negate the fact they are a sovereign nation who is an ally of ours, who was attacked unprovoked by another country that is trying to re-annex them. Nothing that has happened before negates the reality of what's been happening there for the last year and a half. Absolute war crimes, atrocities that have occurred at the hands of Vladimir Putin, a nation, a sovereign nation that was invaded by another army. That does not negate any of that stuff. They've got corruption problems. I get it. That doesn't mean they're ripe for being invaded.
Yeah. And to be clear about the war crimes, lest you think, well, war is hell and dirty things happen. No. War crimes, rape of entire populations, murdering families, torture, those are Soviet tactics. Those are intentional. When it comes to Vladimir Putin, a former KGB agent who said the greatest tragedy in history is the fall of the Soviet Union, war crimes are a feature, not a flaw.
That's correct. And there is a very specific language, as I mentioned. He's talking about, there's a certain crowd that eats up that kind of talk. And he really set the tone for this last night at the beginning of the debate with his opening comments.
Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We'd have 10 times the viewership, asking questions that GOP primary voters actually care about and bringing more people into our party. You think the Democrats, and we've got Kristen Welker here, you think the Democrats would actually hire Greg Gutfeld to host a Democratic debate? They wouldn't do it. And so the fact of the matter is, Kristen, I'm going to use this time because this is actually about you in the media and the corrupt media establishment. Ask you, the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that you pushed on this network for years, was that real or was that Hillary Clinton made up disinformation?
Oh my gosh, if that were a drinking game, if all of the
He hit 'em all,
little
didn't he?
far right, trigger words, oh my gosh, yes. If that were a drinking game in that 20-second clip, you would have been blackout drunk. Because the guy is a clown.
I think the very beginning of that, where he said Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk, and Joe Rogan, they're the ones who need to be moderating this debate. That is a huge tell. You know what he's saying right there? I am speaking to the Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, Elon Musk fan base. That's who he's talking to.
You mean the sun tanning testicles base?
Is that what Elon does?
No, that was Tucker Carlson.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. But there's a type of person, and I don't like to generalize, but I'm going to. There's a type of person that loves those three people specifically. There's a lot of overlap, and he knows who he's talking to. So when he says something like that, that is absolutely pandering to that crowd. I got a buddy. We've talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene a lot. He loves those three people. Thinks they're amazing. That's the kind of person that Vivek Ramaswamy is talking to.
And I know
he's an unserious person.
And that's exactly right. He is unserious. He has zero experience. And I think that's one reason why Nikki Haley cannot even look in his direction, because he is such a charlatan when it comes to politics. Listen, foreign policy was a debate last night. And I think when you look at Ukraine and Russia, you look at China and Taiwan, which, by the way, Vivek Ramaswamy said, let China have Taiwan. It doesn't matter. We need to leave Ukraine. Let Russia have Ukraine. It doesn't matter. Now you have what's going on in Israel and being attacked by Hamas and other terrorist organizations. Foreign policy matters. Did you know that yesterday American fighter jets struck an Iranian weapons facility in Syria? So the Pentagon's taking care of that. You think Vivek Ramaswamy has any idea what's going on? Do you think Vivek Ramaswamy can keep this country safe?
She said it last night, or was it last night or the debate prior, where she said he would be an absolute disaster, and I'm paraphrasing. Actually, I think it was last night. But I believe the last two debates, she's alluded to the fact that we need serious people who understand foreign policy and not whatever Vivek Ramaswamy is. I thought she was totally reasonable last night. There were multiple things that she said I did like. I don't agree with all of them, but some of them I thought were really good, especially her take on abortion, which we have talked about in the past. I want you to hear what she said on that when we come back. We got a lot of audio to bring to you today from last night's GOP debate. Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. If you want to visit with us, give us a voicemail, 314-944-1120 on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. Call now, 314-720-8081.
Every 2 weeks, you get a paycheck. You count on it, and you plan your life around it. But what happens in retirement? Sure, there's Social Security, but that's not enough. How can you create a paycheck in retirement? Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group can show you by creating a custom retirement plan and show you how you can create a guaranteed income stream for retirement, just like you are working. Imagine waking up, not going to work, and still getting paid. Find out more about guaranteed income in retirement when you attend one of the upcoming events on November 14th or the 16th. These events are complimentary, but you must qualify to attend. Call 636-230-8824. or visit yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services offered through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor firm. All Insurance Group, LLC, and IPW are not affiliated firms. Investing involves risk, including potential loss of principal. Insurance and annuity product guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
Spark St. Louis is the newest collaborative co-working office space located in the PwC Pennant Building at Ballpark Village. Spark supports local entrepreneurs and corporate professionals and features over 80 private offices, day pass options, monthly networking events, conference room, and special event amenities, while offering an innovative approach to city life where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within the neighborhood at Ballpark Village. Schedule your tour today by visiting Spark St. Louis online at spark-stl.com.
Feels good to be home.
Our local Ashley store has the biggest and best Black Friday furniture and mattress deals going on right now. Literally everything is on sale throughout the store, including up to 75% off designer-picked holiday hot buys. Plus, you can shop confidently because Ashley's price match guarantee ensures you'll get the best price. So if you're looking for trend-forward styles at unbelievable Black Friday prices, shop your local Ashley store today, only at Ashley.
A painting by famous artist Banksy got everyday investors 32% returns? Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. We know it may sound too good to be true, but thousands of investors are already smiling all the way to the bank. All thanks to Masterworks. As the premier platform for investing in blue chip art, Masterworks has over 810,000 registered users and has already paid out tens of millions in net proceeds. But with Masterworks, you don't need millions to invest. They also have a multi-year history of delivering double-digit net returns. In fact, every one of Masterworks' 16 exits so far has delivered a positive net return to their investors. That's through the pandemic, soaring inflation, and a stock market downturn. That kind of performance explains why some of Masterworks' new offerings have sold out in minutes. They even had to make a wait list, but you can skip it right away at masterworks.com promo code Mercury. That's masterworks.com promo code Mercury. Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. Important Regulation A disclosures and aggregate advisory performance at masterworks.com/CD.
KMOX, the 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year, recognized by the Missouri Broadcasters Association. KMOX, we were built for this.
Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX, live on the Odyssey app, 98.7 FM, 1120 AM. Of course, we are also streaming live on Facebook. You can watch us. You can see us on YouTube as well if you find KMOX 1120. As I mentioned before we went to break, Amy, I thought that what Nikki Haley said about abortion, and I feel like we're running up against it here, so I'm not sure if we have enough time to get to it right now. She was reasonable on it, and she has been. Her position on it has been pretty consistent. I thought Chris Christie was also pretty good on abortion, and again, I don't fully agree with the Republican viewpoint on abortion. I know that not all Republicans think that it should be illegal, but many do. It seems to be more of a popular position within the party. I thought they were both really good on that. Mm-hmm. She especially was really good because she seems to be coming from a place of empathy, which is all I ever ask from a politician is to have, I shouldn't say all, but it is one of the primary things that I ask for from a politician is to have some damn empathy. And too often it feels to me like politicians do not, and it's not all of them, I think it's certain ones, that don't really see through the eyes of their constituents unless something directly affects them or a family member of theirs. Then suddenly they have this revelation of, oh my God, okay, now I get it. Now I get what it's like to have that hardship, and therefore I am interested now. And it's not just politicians. I think it's people generally do this, and some are better at recognizing what others go through than some other people do. And it's a very important quality to me, especially for somebody who's running for high office.
Yes, and I think specifically on the abortion issue, you have to come at it with empathy, with gentleness, and for at least a lot of people, assuming they're coming from a good place. I am pro-life, you are pro-choice, but I know you're coming from a good place. I know you trust that I am coming from a good place. And What we need to do is understand that in a democracy, the people's vote matters. And when you are looking at the American public, they are pro-choice. They are not the extreme pro-choice of the American public, I should say, without any restrictions whatsoever. But the American public is also not pro-life to the point of a heartbeat bill. They're somewhere in the middle. We need to find that. But also, it's really, really important to me as a pro-life woman. The Republican Party, the pro-life side, needs to stop being so punitive towards women as if this is all women's fault. It takes two to tango.
She addressed that specifically, and we will let you hear from her when we come back. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
When those cold spells come out of nowhere, you know it's the change.
To help you navigate the fall weather change, stay with the official weather station. Get up to the minute forecasts mornings and afternoons from 2 meteorologists. And when severe weather hits, the KMOX Storm Center is there for you. Covering the weather change. We're News Radio 1120, KMOX.
The leaves are changing. Thanksgiving is just around the corner. And you know what that means? It's time to start making your list and checking it twice. Pro tip, if you're planning to propose this holiday season, it's time to design the perfect ring now. Every Diamonds Direct engagement ring is handcrafted to perfection, which takes time. So don't wait. Start designing your dream ring today. Our experts will make you feel at ease as they educate and guide you to create that one-of-a-kind ring you're envisioning. Our industry-leading warranties will give you total confidence. And as always, our nationwide price guarantee will ensure you get the very best value. Plus, Diamonds Direct has a gift even Santa can't beat. Buy any natural diamond at Diamonds Direct and get a 14-karat gold solitaire setting free. Beat the rush, shop in November, and make this holiday season one to remember. Diamonds Direct at Olive and 270, official partner of the St. Louis Blues and proud to call the Gateway City home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Yo, I'm your old basketball. Haven't seen you out on the courts in a while. Why not pass me over to Goodwill? Donating me helps Goodwill's mission to provide career training and support services right here in the community. And that's a slam dunk. Donate today. Hey, I got next.
To find your nearest Goodwill locations and to learn more about our mission, visit mersgoodwill.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
At 10:30, we have sunny skies, 53 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Aviation near misses the focus of a Senate Commerce Committee hearing. 23 such incidents documented during the past fiscal year. Rich Santa is president of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association.
Air traffic control is already a highly stressful profession. Working 200 hours per month layers on significant fatigue.
There's not been a fatal crash involving a major U.S. airline since 2009. Police say an industrial robot crushed a worker to death at a vegetable packing plant in South Korea. The man died of head and chest injuries after he was grabbed and pressed against a conveyor belt by the machine's robotic arms. He worked for a company that installs the industrial robots and was sent to the plant to examine whether the machine was working properly. A Madison County, Illinois judge has ruled against a convicted killer. Timothy Banowitz was trying to withdraw his guilty plea for the murder of attorney Randy Gorey. Banowitz was sentenced to 70 years in prison. Gorey was stabbed at his Edwardsville home in January 2020. Banowitz, homeless at the time, police discovered Gorey's murder was part of a robbery scheme. And checking the roads, it looks like we've got some slowdowns on eastbound Highway 70 as you get near Cave Springs due to construction there. One lane is closed through that area. Checking the forecast, we'll have some clouds this afternoon, much cooler than the last 3 days. We're only expecting a high around 60. Clouds breaking tonight with an overnight low of 44. Right now, mostly sunny skies, 53 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Gone South, winner of the prestigious Edward R. Murrow Award, is back. Laredo, Texas, a border town community where in the fall of 2018, 4 women were found dead. In season 3 of Gone South, The Sign Cutter, Join award-winning producer and journalist Jed Lipinski as he unravels the story behind the manhunt for a serial killer that led to a shocking standoff.
All episodes of Gone South, The Sign Cutter are available now exclusively on the free Odyssey app, or listen weekly wherever you get your podcasts.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000, or online at youreye.com.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Honey, can you swing by the post office and grab some stamps?
Done.
And drop off these packages?
Sure thing, honey.
Oh, and get the tracking info.
Got it.
But you haven't moved.
I know. How great is that?
This holiday season, the Postal Service is closer than ever with convenient ship-from-home services like label printing, free package pickup, and delivery notifications. You can send more holiday joy from the comfort of home. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Ship from home at USPS.com/holidayjoy.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-728-8500. 800-728-8500. That's 800-728-8500.
Tonight, we've got football.
Ready?
It's the Panthers and Bears. Kickoff at 7:30.
We're going to be in football heaven.
It's Thursday Night Football on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Text message to 314-436-7900 says, why are you giving Vivek airtime?
It's a great point.
Listen, it's an outstanding point, and the good Lord willing, we will never have to see this guy after the next debate, which is apparently December 8th. I thought we were done with these, but I guess they're having 4 of them. 4 GOP debates. The next one will be on News Nation. December 8th. So, gosh, I mean,
wait.
What do we need 4 of these for? 4 for candidates who are not going to win the nomination.
But
Why are there 4?
That's a really good text.
Also from Facebook, a message. This is from Bob. It said the moderators lost control. They should have stepped in, I guess, when Ramaswamy went on the attack, also attacking NBC. Well, he attacked them right up. His very first statement, his opening statement, was attacking Kristen Welker. So he did that pretty much right away. I would say this. I thought, and maybe it's because there were fewer voices on the stage, I thought it was moderated better than the other ones were. And again, it could be because there were 5 people and not 9 or whatever it started off. I think it may have been, it was probably 9. It was not nearly as chaotic this time around. So I thought the moderators did a fine job. So I mentioned Nikki Haley. We were talking about her and her stance on abortion. Let me just let you listen to what she said in full.
I've said it before. I think you have to be honest with the American people. This is a personal issue for every woman and every man. I am unapologetically pro-life, not because the Republican Party tells me to be, but because my husband, Michael, was adopted and I had trouble having both of my children. So I'm surrounded by blessings. Having said that, when you look post-Roe, a wrong was made right. They took it out of the hands of unelected justices and they put it in the hands of the people. And now we're seeing states vote. And what I'll tell you is, as much as I'm pro-life, I don't judge anyone for being pro-choice, and I don't want them to judge me for being pro-life. So when we're looking at this, there are some states that are going more on the pro-life side. I welcome that. There's some states that are going more on the pro-choice side. I wish that wasn't the case, but the people decided. But when it comes to the federal law, which is what's being debated here, Be honest. It's going to take 60 Senate votes, a majority of the House, and a president to sign it. So no, we haven't had 60 Senate votes in over 100 years. We might have 45 pro-life senators. So no Republican president can ban abortions any more than a Democrat president can ban these state laws. So let's find consensus. Let's agree on how we can ban late-term abortions. Let's make sure we encourage adoptions and good quality adoptions. Let's make sure we make contraception accessible. Let's make sure that none of these state laws put a woman in jail or give her the death penalty for getting an abortion. Let's focus on how to save as many babies as we can and support as many moms as we can and stop the judgment. We don't need to divide America over this issue anymore.
For somebody who is pretty staunchly pro-life, I don't think you can give a more sensible answer than what she did there. That's it. She absolutely nailed that. And what she's doing, as I said, is she's coming from a place of empathy. She's saying, look, I had difficulty, so these kids are a blessing to me. But she's basically said, that's me. I am not everybody else. I am not going through what other people are going through in their situations. She has a fundamental understanding of that other people, other women have different circumstances and are coming from different places. I don't think you can give, as I said, a better answer than that one.
It was a great answer for being a pro-life politician in a pro-choice culture. And that's something I've talked about our friend John Hancock and Michael Kelly. I've talked to John Hancock about that. When you are pro-life in a culture that is majority pro-choice to different degrees, how can you conduct yourself? How can you support the pro-life cause? And how can you protect as many unborn babies as possible while staying within the limits of constitutionality and the democratic processes? Pro-lifers wanted Roe, that decision, which was so sweeping, it was fundamentally unstable. According to Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself, said it was poorly constructed and designed. It was so sweeping. When we put that back in the hands of the states, that's what pro-lifers wanted. The thing is, a lot of states are pro-choice. So now it's how do we move forward? How do we encourage women in really, really difficult situations, in painful situations? How do we provide them with all the support they need if they decide to have the baby? And all I know is being punitive is not the way to go. Or starting to talk about being pro-life and then saying, we're also going to ban contraception. What in the world are you talking about? That is the best way to alienate 90% of Americans, is to say, well, we're going to ban contraception and also punish women. That's the absolute wrong method to take. So for Nikki Haley, I think she really struck that balance well. Yeah, and I don't think it's on pro-lifers to try and change everybody's opinion on this. They're going to try, but it's been decided by the majority of the public, and I don't see them going back on that no matter what they're presented. But you can always pursue persuasion, right? Like I'm pro-life, and my goal would always be to maybe eventually we change the culture. Maybe as science becomes more well-known to people, we can see, hey, to a certain point at least. I mean, here in America, it's so tied in with religion. It gets very emotional. In Europe, it's not religious. Nobody's religious in Europe. So all abortion restrictions in Europe tend to be just based on medical decisions and consensus. It's not religious at all. I think it would behoove the United States to try to find some common ground.
Well, they're not. The pro-life movement is not. It's never going to not be religiously based. It just isn't.
You mean in the United States?
In the United States here. So there's no point in having that conversation because it will always be spearheaded by religious groups. It's always going to be like that. So what I think we need to do is, she said it right there. She said states have decided, and some states have decided that it's for them. Okay, fine. Let that be. It's not up to you now because you've gotten this far. You got this thing repealed that you didn't like. So you got rid of it. All right, well, let's see how much farther we can go. Let's see if we can now make this a national thing, which she rightfully said you're not going to get 60 senators to vote in favor of that. And she's right. And there probably never will be 60 senators who vote in favor of that. What I would like to happen, and there are a number of things, but one of them is the just the absolute extreme language and scare tactic stuff of people are deciding the day of the birth to abort the baby. That's not happening. It's not happening. If there are late term abortions, it is almost always, in fact, it probably is always, because there's a danger to the fetus or the mother. So we need to be reasonable about that and be scientific about it. But they're not. The pro-life movement is using that as a scare tactic, trying to convince people that there are women who have carried a pregnancy through 8 months who don't have any intention of keeping it. That's
Here's
nonsense.
the thing, though,
You're not keeping a baby inside you for 8 months
someone who's
if you
been-
don't intend to have it delivered.
As someone who's been deeply embedded in the pro-life movement for a very long time, my whole life, for 40 years, this more extreme version of being pro-life in the sense that, you have the idea of banning contraception thrown into the mix, or you say, not even if the woman's life is in danger. That I've never, ever in my life heard those arguments, ever in the pro-life movement. This is almost like, I shouldn't say almost like, it is part of the whole fear-driven motivation in politics now, whether you're saying Trump is a Nazi or whatever, he's fascist. I mean, listen, like I said, you can be really, really bad and really unfit for president without actually being a fascist. Trump is both of those things, unfit and bad, but he's not actually a fascist. And then the same thing with pro-life is you can be pro-life and say, which every pro-lifer I've ever met my entire life has said is, yeah, when the mother's life is in danger. I mean,
That's
I've
obvious.
had friends who signed papers. Yes, you
That's
saved the
obvious.
mom. My mom and dad, we've talked about that. Like, what if something goes wrong? The mother's life. Everybody knows that. So this more extreme version of pro-life, I don't know if they're just louder than ever because they think it drives people, or if it's being exploited like nut picking, because the pro-lifers I've met are not like that.
Here's what Chris Christie said on it.
Here's the bigger issue, Kirsten. The bigger issue is, and Tim began to touch on this, we're not pro-life for the whole life. To be pro-life for the whole life means that the life of a 16-year-old drug addict on the floor of the county lockup is precious, and we should get treatment for her to restore her life. The 52-year-old who's drug addicted should make sure that any of his children who he's passed that addiction on to are treated well too. Pro-life's not just in the womb, Kirsten, it's for the whole life.
Also reasonable. And there are too many of the most vocal pro-lifers who really don't care what happens after the baby's born. That's just their sole function is let's get the baby born and that's it. And some of them would argue against things like SNAP benefits for poor people. Well, that benefits children. It benefits babies. I think those two people on that stage last night, for somebody who's on the opposite side of them, I think they gave the absolute best, most reasonable answers on that topic.
I agree. And I really I appreciate you saying that, because it's a logical, measured, empathetic response. I've heard people say, well, okay, if you want to be pro-life, then let's get the dads to pay child support while the woman is pregnant. Let's get the dads to pay child support if the dads aren't there, or if the dads are dangerous, then we need to have a program. We need to have a government program that helps women, give them safe places, give them maternity care, give them post-birth care. Let's provide that. That's being pro-life as well.
A texter says, I don't see why nobody likes Chris Christie. Well, I mean, the answer to that is simple. He's gone directly after Donald Trump, and people who like him don't like that. So I think it's pretty simple. Are the phones working? Can we take a call? No, we cannot take a call because I think we're having some difficulty here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We got people on hold.
Well,
but
that's unfortunate.
Well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see if I can get the Greg. Greg,
Is
are you
it-
with us?
Not that great.
Yeah,
Is
I
it?
think I am.
Okay.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, we hear you.
We hear you.
Okay, so here I've got a question because I heard this last night too, because I watched. Are there states that we have now that have put in place laws that say that a woman can wait up until one day before her child's about to be born to decide she wants to have an abortion?
Yeah, that was New York did that.
So I think Illinois is one of the states, New York's one of the states, and somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know all the states right now, but I do know a couple of years ago when New York passed it because they lit up the Empire State Building in pink and really expanded the ability. Now, Ranj's argument is that no woman would do that. But
not electively. Not electively.
Would.
But
and I think that elective is the key word.
Here's my issue. My issue, not to cut you off. Just the fact that that's there and you got, Ron's not saying, and these Democrats, and I'm not a Republican, but I listened to that last night and I had no idea. And I went, really? That's what you guys did? That's what you guys voted in? We need to be looking at all of these politicians, not some.
Again, let me cut you off. Greg, again, I think what we're talking about is elective abortions. If it is a very late term abortion that happens, it's because somebody is in jeopardy. Either the mother is in jeopardy or the fetus isn't viable. It's not an elective abortion where a woman says the day of the birth, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't want this.
Right.
That is just not happening anywhere. And if you carry it that long, you have every intention of having a baby.
And while that's probably most of the time right, I'm on Greg's point here, which is what I've always pushed back with. Then why expand it to include finances or stress? All the way up to the moment of birth, you could suddenly say,
but it's not happening.
I know,
Amy.
but let's say I agree with you that it's not happening. What can't I just gently push back and say, then why is it allowed if it's not happening?
I want to read me the law that it says, hey, if I don't want to have this baby because of financial stress on the final day of
it was mental or psychological stress all the way through. I we'll find the law because I have it written down, but it passed when I was with Charlie, so it's in that notebook.
Okay,
but you know what I mean. Like,
let's be real. I think we need to be realistic about the conversation. Women are not having abortions the day of the birth because they just suddenly decided they can't handle it.
Don't you think that's weird? Then why was it put in the law?
I don't know. I think we're focusing on something that doesn't matter and is not really actually happening, and we're trying to find a solution to a problem that doesn't exist again. Did you see this coming up next on KMOX?
Want to learn a new language but don't know where to start? I felt the same way until I found Rosetta Stone. As the language learning experts for 30 years, Rosetta Stone knows what really works when it comes to learning a new language and helped me feel confident enough to speak it in the real world. With their lifetime unlimited subscription, I have access to all 25 languages forever. I can take a break when life gets busy and not feel guilty about another monthly subscription I didn't use. But with their award-winning app and 10-minute lessons, I can always fit Rosetta Stone into my schedule, even on my busiest day. Plus, Rosetta Stone's True Accent system tells me how well I'm speaking each word compared to native speakers. I've never gotten feedback like this from any other app. There's nothing greater than the sound of learning. And I have an amazing deal to share with you. Go to rosettastone.com/radio today and score 50% off now through November 22nd. That's rosettastone.com/radio. 50% off now through November 22nd.
This is Megan Lynch for Ophthalmology Associates. Well, it's finally turned cold, and that means that more of us are going to be staying inside. But being indoors means that warm, dry heat, and that can cause problems for your eyes. Be sure to give Ophthalmology Associates a call at 314-966-5000. Without humidifiers, our homes and offices in the winter are often much drier than we realize, sometimes drier than desert air. The best conditions for your eyes, air with 45% or more humidity. So it's important to use a good eye drop to prevent dry eye, especially in the winter. Talk to the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates to find the best eye drops to prevent dry eye disease to protect your best sight. That's what Dr. Greg Birdie recommended for me. The doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are experts in diagnosis and treatment of dry eye. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Berry, the doctors. Ophthalmology Associates, located at 12990 Manchester Road, half-mile west of I-270 on eastbound Manchester. For more information, call 314-966-5000 or go to youridoc.com.
Get ready, St. Louis. It's Medicare annual enrollment period. So why not make enrolling easier with United Healthcare? Whether you choose our online tools or over-the-phone support, United Healthcare will help you compare options so you can choose a plan with confidence. This is Medicare made for St. Louis. Trusted everywhere. Explore our wide range of plans by calling United Healthcare today at 1-855-MEET-UHC. That's 1-855-MEET-UHC. Annual enrollment begins October 15th and ends December 7th, so call today.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan. In celebration of McKelvey Homes' 125th anniversary, we are having our biggest sale of the year. Save up to $89,000. Get special financing in the fives and free closing costs on all move-in ready homes. Visit The Preserve on Mackenzie Road near Watson. A beautiful community with 4 lakes, nature trails, and wooded home sites. We have a variety of homes from the 400s, including our villa and estate homes. Don't miss this opportunity to save big and get in before the holidays. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
As America's largest injury firm, we have advantages few others do. Our results and reputation are well known to the other side, and we have a track record of going toe-to-toe with them and winning big. But what does that mean for you? What does that mean for your case? I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One of the things we're most proud about is that we set up our firm so that your case gets lots of attention from a lot of people. Our technology and army of lawyers give us insight and oversight into every detail and every moment of your case. Paralegals, legal assistants, investigators, buildings with boxes of evidence, every resource carefully designed to get you the most possible. And at Morgan & Morgan, we even have a dedicated team to make sure that your calls are returned that very same day. Injured, dial pound law. That's pound 529. All law firms are not the same. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The people have spoken. I want to thank you, St. Louis, for voting Onder Law 2023's best St. Louis law firm.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
Halloween is over, but hiring is still a bit scary. Indeed's end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Amy Mark scores.
Fabulous.
Chris Ranji.
Unbelievable.
On KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Oh my God. Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy on the show?
You see the story, Amy, about the Las Vegas Sphere, that apparently it's not doing well financially.
Wait. The Las Vegas Sphere?
Sphere.
I thought it was a team.
Dude.
The Las Vegas
They are
Sphere.
So it's
What?
not. It has only been open since September 30th. No, before that, but in the fiscal quarter ending September 30, excuse me, they have reported an operating loss of $98.4 million. Now, I think the assumption was they were going to lose money at first, but eventually start to make more money. But the chief financial officer has resigned, according to a filing to the SEC. And by the way, his name is Gautam Ranji.
Hey,
But it is
any
the-
relation?
It's the way people think my name is spelled.
Yeah.
Ranji.
So they you are Serbian, right?
Yeah,
Your
but
family
the name is French.
French. Okay.
But it's not spelled.
But that would be like an Indian spelling.
Yes.
Like if you're from India,
Yes.
Ranji. Yeah.
And for as long as I can remember, people, when they hear my name, 60% of the time think it's spelled Ranji.
Yeah. I can see that. How would you know? How would you not know?
So apparently, James Dolan, who owns the New York Knicks, is a terrible owner. Ranji suddenly quit after a bout of yelling and screaming from CEO James Dolan.
I like the idea of
It's like,
of yelling.
guy
and
was all right.
screaming.
I'm out of here, you yelling bastard. I'm leaving. Anyway, the Sphere's not doing well. It's beautiful though. I love it.
Wow. Well, better go while it's still lit up.
Chris and Amy on KMOX.
By texting 26022, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Tax Lien Code. Message and data rates may apply. Terms apply. Available at taxliencode.com.
Have you ever wondered how America's most successful people build their wealth? By investing in tax liens. And you can too. The Tax Lien Code Masterclass is coming right here to St. Louis, where you'll have the opportunity to learn the same simple blueprint that tax lien investor Brian Peterson and his partners have used to purchase over $40 million in tax liens. With tax lien investing, you can earn government-secured double-digit returns on your investment as high as 30%. And that's just the beginning. Listen, if you've ever been interested in real estate investing but weren't sure how to get started, this is your chance. No prior experience needed. For 2 free tickets to the 2-hour Tax Lien Code Masterclass right here in St. Louis, text code to 26022. Hurry, with high demand, seats will fill up. Text code to 26022. Get code to 26022.
While no child should have to spend the holidays in the hospital, there are many at SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital who will not be able to experience the joy of opening gifts around their tree. Please join KMOX and give the gift of hope and healing to Cardinal Glennon kids and support the Tree of Hope year-end giving campaign. Your gift ensures that these brave patients can continue to receive the critical care they need during these challenging times. Thank you for giving at treeofhope.org.
When choosing a skilled nursing memory care community, considered by U.S. News and World Reports as a best memory care community, choose Park Prevent.